Why do we sometimes look over a cliff and suddenly think, what if I jumped? It's a strange moment. You don't want to jump. You don't plan to jump. But the thought flashes through your mind anyway. Ever notice that? Welcome to today's episode, The Strange Feeling of Looking Down. Today, we're exploring one of those odd little mysteries of the mind. Why cliffs, oceans, deserts, and even open skies can trigger strange feelings inside our brain. And what those moments might reveal about how the human mind works. Let's start with the cliff. Imagine standing near the edge of a high place. You look down. Your body tightens just a little. Your attention sharpens. And suddenly, a strange thought appears. What if I jumped? This moment has a name sometimes used in psychology. People call it the call of the void. But despite how dramatic that sounds, it doesn't mean you actually want to jump. In fact, the opposite is probably true. What's really happening is that your brain is running a safety simulation. Your mind is constantly predicting danger. The moment it sees height, distance, and gravity all lined up together, it quickly runs the worst-case scenario. What if you fall? That simulation happens so quickly that your conscious mind sometimes misinterprets it. Instead of hearing, "Be careful, you could fall," your awareness hears something closer to, "What if I jumped?" But the thought isn't a desire. It's a warning. Your brain is checking whether you're still in control. And the funny thing is, after that thought appears, most people instinctively step back. The safety system did exactly what it was supposed to do. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. That strange feeling isn't limited to cliffs. People often report a similar sensation while staring at the ocean, or looking across a massive desert, or standing in a huge open landscape where the horizon stretches forever. Ever felt that? You look out at the distance, and something strange happens. Part of you feels calm. Another part feels slightly uneasy, almost like the vast space is pulling your attention. Why does that happen? To understand this, we have to look at how the brain interprets the world. Your brain loves boundaries. Trees, buildings, rocks, mountains, these objects help the mind measure space. They give the brain reference points. But when you stare at the open ocean or a giant desert, those reference points disappear. Suddenly, the brain tries to measure the environment and can't. There's no clear edge, no clear distance, just endless space. For a moment, your mind struggles to calculate scale. This can produce a strange emotional mix, a little bit of wonder, a little bit of tension, and a deep sense of something being bigger than you. Some people describe this as a kind of mental pause. The brain stops for a second, almost like it's recalibrating. But there's another layer to this feeling. Throughout human history, people have associated downward spaces with danger. Cliffs, depths, dark holes. These environments often meant real risk, falling, losing balance, losing control. So when your brain looks downward from a high place, it activates ancient survival systems. Your balance system, your visual system, and your internal sense of body position all start communicating at once. Together they ask a simple question: are we safe here? That's why looking down can trigger such a strong reaction. Your brain is not just observing the view, it's calculating survival. Looking upward, however, often feels very different. When you stare into the sky, the brain usually doesn't interpret danger. Instead, it reads the scene as distant and harmless. Upward space often triggers curiosity rather than alarm. People look at the sky and imagine things, dreams, possibilities, questions. In many cultures, this difference became symbolic. Downward directions were linked with darkness, depth, and endings. Upward directions were linked with hope, gods, or imagination. But interestingly, this division isn't built into the universe itself. It's something the brain created. In space, there is no natural up or down. Astronauts sometimes report a strange moment when they first experience weightlessness. They look around and realize something unsettling. Without gravity, those directions lose meaning. Your brain created them simply to stay oriented on Earth. And this brings us back to the strange feeling of looking into vast spaces, cliffs, oceans, deserts, the night sky. These places do something unusual. They break the normal rules your brain uses to understand the world. They stretch your mental map. For a moment, the mind realizes something important. The world is much bigger than the model inside your head. And when that realization hits, your brain pauses. Not because it's broken, but because it's updating the map. So the next time you stand near a cliff, or watch the ocean stretching toward the horizon, or feel that quiet pull of an endless landscape, remember this: the void isn't calling you. Your brain is simply checking the controls, making sure you're still steering the machine, and maybe reminding you of something deeper. The real mystery isn't the cliff, or the desert, or the sky. The real mystery is the mind that's trying to understand them. And the question that remains is simple. How much of the world are you actually seeing? And how much of it is your brain still trying to figure out?